are you, Henry?
For a job? Hey, watch it. Loud.
What the hell? Damn.
Damn. God be with you.
Do you work any copper here, Master Blacksmith?
Why'd you ask?
I'm looking into a few things here.
Looking into things? Meaning what?
I'm on the trail of a gang of counterfeiters.
Well, that's a serious business, but to answer your question, no. I don't work copper here.
Aha. What can you tell me about the Sasau blacksmiths?
Well, there's Mikesh. He's honest enough, and a fair-handed everyday things. And then there's Master Otter. He used to have talent, but now he's too old, and too proud to admit it.
My respects to you.
God be with you, good sir.
Let's talk about the price.
Well, we can try it.
Is this enough?
We're getting there. Just drop the price a bit more.
Aye, for that amount I can be persuaded.
So, from the beginning. God be with you.
Do you ever work with copper here?
No, and even if I wanted to, I couldn't. Zach from the monastery craftsman's yard has bought out all the copper.
What can you tell me about the Sasau blacksmiths?
There's too many of us, I'll tell you that for free. This is only a small town. There's Zach, who has a forge in the craftsman's yard and mostly works on the construction of the church. And then, apart from me, there's Master Armourer Otter of Ramstein.
Tell me more about Zach.
Don't have much time for him myself. He knows his craft, no question. But he seems to think his son, Vitus, will be a master armourer in Prague one day.
My father was a blacksmith, and I expect he thought much the same about me. That's how fathers are, isn't it?
Of course, any man should be proud of his boy. But Zach makes pride a sin. That's why he's at loggerheads with Master Otter.
What are Zach and Master Otter arguing about?
Zach had his boy Vitus trained as an armourer in Kuttenberg, and he wanted to buy out Otter's place for him. Except that Otter's a proud man. How would it have looked? A master armourer giving way to a young whippersnapper who's barely let go of his mother's skirts? And they've been arguing ever since. Well, Zach mostly. He badmouths Otter every chance he gets. He claims that he's only fit for mending pots, and that his son will see him off.
Can you tell me something about Master Otter?
Well now, there's a master to look up to. He's worked for the lords of Kunstadt and for the richest townsfolk of Prague.
If you don't mind my asking, what brings him here?
The same as draws all reasonable people. He's enjoying the peace and quiet. Or rather, he used to enjoy some peace. That dispute with Zach must have put a few more wrinkles on his brow.
That will be all. Thank you. Your father says you don't work any copper.
We don't.
I've heard differently around town. They say your father's bought up all the copper to be had.
Are you calling me a liar? Or my father? You're asking for it, boy.
You're right. It's nothing to me either way.
Right. So clear off.
I mean, beside the fact I'm here on behalf of the Royal Burgrave Sir Radzig Kobyla, investigating a grievous crime against the Crown.
What? What are you talking about?
I'd let you read my Bill of Authority, but I doubt you're educated enough to understand it.
I'm so sorry. I didn't realise. If I'd known, of course I wouldn't. I mean, you understand, don't you?
Stop prattling, for God's sake, and start telling me the truth. What's the story with the copper at your forge?
You're right. We do make copper sheets here at night.
So why all the secrecy about it?
Father forbade me to talk about it. I don't know why, I didn't ask.
Who buys those sheets from you?
I don't know. I've never set eyes on him. Father doesn't like to talk about it.
Your father has some serious explaining to do.
I'm so sorry. If I'd known who you were, I'd never have taken such liberties.
Never mind. You weren't to know who I am. You were just protecting your father's business interests like any good son.
Thank you.
So back to that copper, Master Blacksmith.
What? I thought I told you I don't work with copper.
Your son put it quite differently.
What's that? What are you blabbering on about?
Don't be angry with him. I didn't give him any choice.
All right. I suppose there's no point lying. We do make copper sheets here, and I wanted to keep it quiet.
Why?
Pays me good money, and the people I do it for. I wouldn't want to get on the wrong side of them.
Did they threaten you?
They didn't have to. Just by the look of them, I could say I needed to shut my mouth and do what they wanted.
And did they ever tell you who they were? Do you know where to find them?
I know a little. I'd show some understanding. There's nothing but trouble in it for me. I'll lose the work and be left looking over my shoulder for some thugs to come and burn down my house. Or worse.
If you don't cooperate, you'll be getting a lot worse than that from me.
There's no need for threats. We can both benefit here. If I tell you everything I know, you can help me with a certain small matter. One that'll cover up for my loss of earnings.
Do you know what the penalty is for counterfeiting?
I never give it much thought.
Evidently, because the penalty for counterfeiting is burning at the stake. And I can personally guarantee that when you're standing on that pyre, you'll find a loss of earnings is the least of your concerns.
No, of course you're right. I shouldn't have. I'm sorry. It's just that I'm afraid of being left destitute.
So, out with it. What's been going on?
One evening I got a visit from this scruffy beggar calling himself Rapota. He had a yellow cape on and kept whistling to himself. There was a knight with him too, but he didn't give his name. They told me what I had to do, how much I'd get for it, and I had to keep my mouth shut.
And where can I find this Rapota? Or the knight?
I don't know exactly. But I've always left the wagon with the goods behind the monastery, on the hill there, next to a small chapel under a big tree.
Anything else?
No. I swear that's all I know.
Well, that'll do me for now.
Young man, about that matter I need help with. I'll gladly pay you.
I'm not interested.
How are you, Henry? Greetings. What do you need?
You look different, Master.
So as to fit in. I don't want it known that I'm in town.
Why?
I don't want to alarm our prey. Gossip spreads quickly, and if those scoundrels learn we're onto them, they'll flee.
That does make sense.
So what have you found out so far?
I found out where they get the copper sheets from.
Really? So tell me,
It's the smith on the monastery craftsman's yard. He supplies the counterfeiters.
do you know how he gets the goods to them?
No. All I know is that someone called Rapota collected the goods.
Not much, but it's a start. At least it's not a common name. Listen, Henry, I had another thought on the way here. Those counterfeiters have to have a punch die to make the fake coins.
Yes, of course.
That's sophisticated work. There's a man I know who works at the monastery yard, master engraver Jerome of Silesia.
You don't suppose that he's...
No, not that, God forbid. I know him well. He'd never do anything like that. But he runs an engraving workshop, so he might have heard something.
Very well, I'll ask him.
But ask with tact. I don't want him getting offended. And I prefer you not to mention me at all.
I'll try to think of something. That's all.
Good day to you.
How goes the work, Master?
Getting there, getting there. You need something, my boy?
What are you doing here, anyway?
You're in an engraver's shop, my boy. We're engraving, of course.
Yeah, but engraving what? And what's it used for?
Oh, we engrave wood and stone as well as metal. Here in the monastery, it's mostly about decoration.
You've got quite a large workshop, Master. You don't do all the work alone, surely?
I'm usually here with my apprentice, Florian. Of course, by simple observation, you'll note that this is not currently the case, and I'm here alone, which means that either I'm a liar or something out of the ordinary has occurred.
I see. I think. So what's happened to Florian?
He shares the fate of the pharaohs for today. The fifth scourge of Egypt did smite him, the plague, or so his message advised me.
Jesus Christ, the plague?
Do remain calm. I'm quite certain the plague from which Florian is suffering wasn't a judgment from on high, or if it was a judgment on excessive drinking. I'm told such an ailment can be of truly biblical proportions.
Does Florian have any enemies?
A man such as he certainly owes money at every turn, and the parents of local girls are undoubtedly displeased with his attempts to propagate. However, most recently it was that fury from the baths who accosted him in quite a spectacular rage.
A woman from the baths? What did she do?
The harpy nearly tore all Florian's hair out. I don't frequently feel sorry for my ne'er-do-well apprentice, but on that occasion I made an exception.
Do you have any idea why she did it?
She was screaming about some girl, some flighty bath-maid, Esther. I would say that Florian had felt the joys of spring and acted accordingly, although one would have thought they'd be used to that sort of thing at the bathhouse.
What's he like, your apprentice, Florian?
I'm afraid that his exuberant youth has taken its toll. He's been acting strangely of late. I fear he has delusions of persecution.
I don't really know what you mean, at all.
Recently, for example, he told me that someone was following him, and the very next day he bought a padlock from the blacksmith and locked up his chest, as though I would ever sneak into it. In any case, why the interest? Are you looking for him?
Something like that.
May I ask why?
I have a message for him.
A message? Who would be interested in that wastrel? Other than his furious and deeply disappointed master, of course. About your question, you'll find him at home, no doubt feverishly dying. He sleeps in the baker's cellar.
Ah, thank you. Thank you. I'll leave you to your work.
God be with you.
You look quite sprightly for an invalid.
What? Who the hell are you?
My name's Henry, and I'm making inquiries for Sir Radzig Kobyla.
And what do you want from me?
Straight to the point then? All right. I've been investigating counterfeit money, and the trail led me straight to you. Does the name Rappator mean anything to you?
I don't know. Maybe?
Don't bother. I know you know him. You make the punch dice for the counterfeiters. How do you hand them over? Do you know where their workshop is?
I can't say anything. I'll deny everything and you've got nothing on me. No evidence, just accusations.
Counterfeiting is a crime against the king. I don't have to prove anything to have you dragged straight to the executioner.
And what if you're wrong? What's then? Under torture, everyone confesses, whether they did it or not. You'll never know for sure.
I already know for sure. You admitted it yourself a moment ago.
I won't tell you anything just the same. I can't, even if I wanted to.
Why not?
Those bastards kidnapped Esther. If I don't cooperate, they'll kill her.
Who is Esther?
My girl, of course. That scum took her right out of the bathhouse.
That doesn't begin to justify what you did.
I don't care. This isn't about me. Listen, I'll tell you everything, I promise. But only if I know that Esther's safe.
What, so I'm to go searching for her in the woods?
I know where they're keeping her, but nobody will help me. And what can puny little me do faced with those strapping great villains?
Very well. I'll bring back your Esther.
Really?
Yes, but then you have to tell me everything.
I will. I swear to God Almighty. Please, just bring her back to me. Nothing else matters.
Where are they keeping her?
In the Skalitz Hills. There are some abandoned cottages around the mines. That's where I saw her last. They took me there when I said they had to let me speak to her.
All right. I'll go there and try and think of something.
You're my saviour.
Don't get your hopes up. Anything could happen. I hear you're at odds with apprentice Florian.
At odds? I'll give you at odds. It's that sod's fault they took my Esther. Poor girl. I shudder to think what's become of her.